My phone was lighting up my dark bedroom like a warning signal I couldn't shut off. Dozens of missed calls, endless messages, every single one from family. Please answer. We need to talk. Don't shut us out. Just a few weeks earlier, I would have picked up immediately. Back then, I still trusted them. My name is Elena Brooks. I'm 32 years old, and I live alone in a fourth-floor walk-up in Seattle. No elevator, just steep stairs and thin railings that suddenly felt like enemies after surgery. When I went in for hip surgery, my mother promised she'd stay with me for at least a week. She said she'd cook, help me move, make sure I didn't fall while learning to walk again. She said I wouldn't be alone. I believed her. Instead, 2 days after I was discharged, I found out she had packed her winter coat and left town. When I called my sister, I could hear music blasting and laughter spilling through the phone. Wind rushed past her open car window. She didn't even lower her voice. "Don't do this right now," she said. "We're here to relax, not babysit you." I looked around my apartment. Empty fridge, swollen leg, pain medication just out of reach on the highest shelf. Something inside me cracked. I smiled tightly and said, "Thanks for finally showing me who you are." She laughed like I was being dramatic and hung up. That was the last normal conversation we ever had. Because what I did next, they never saw coming. And if you've ever been the responsible one in your family, the fixer, the reliable one, you might understand exactly why I stopped saving them. The morning of my surgery felt strangely peaceful. For once, everyone acted like this mattered. My mom, Carol, drove me to the hospital, fussing over my paperwork and telling every nurse she'd be staying with me afterward. My dad, Robert, showed up with coffee and promised we'd get through this together. My sister, Lena, arrived late with her husband, Josh, snapped a quick selfie, captions, "Supporting my brave little sister," and disappeared before they wheeled me into surgery. When I woke up, groggy and aching, my mom was beside my bed scrolling through her phone. She told me she'd already organized my medications, meals, and physical therapy schedule. She said she'd be staying at my place. I clung to that promise when they sent me home. The stairs nearly broke me. Every step up to my apartment felt like punishment. My mom helped me into bed, stocked the fridge with soup, kissed my forehead, and said she was heading home briefly to grab clothes and check on the cafe she co-owned. She said, "I'll be back early tomorrow." She never came back. The first night was hard, but manageable. The second day was agony. My next bottle of pain medication sat on the top kitchen shelf, unreachable without risking a fall. I called my mom, straight to voicemail. I texted her, delivered, no reply. I messaged the family group chat she'd created called Elena's Recovery Team. Silence. When the pain worsened, I ordered food, planning to shuffle to the door. The delivery driver left the bag in the hallway like always. Halfway there, my leg gave out. I ended up crouched on the floor, sweating, trying not to cry. The food went cold outside. That evening, bored and anxious, I opened Instagram, and that's when the truth hit. There they were, my entire family, smiling from front of snowy mountains. My mom in a brand new jacket, my sister grinning, my dad holding hot chocolate. The caption read, "Much needed family getaway." Not one mention of me. I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. Then I called my sister. She answered after several rings, laughing about fresh powder. I told her I couldn't reach my meds, that Mom never came back, that I was scared of falling. She sighed like I was inconveniencing her. "Elena, you can't do this. We needed this trip." I told her I wasn't asking for a vacation. I was asking not to be left helpless. She laughed. "Don't guilt trip me. We're here to relax, not serve you." I heard my mom in the background say, "Who is it?" My sister muffled the phone. "It's just Elena. She's freaking out again." That was the moment something clicked. I said calmly, "Thanks for showing me who you really are." She called me dramatic and hung up. I tried calling my parents. No answer. So I lay there on my couch, staring at the ceiling, realizing something terrifying. If something happened to me, no one was coming. A week later, after I slipped on a rug and collapsed onto my knees, shaking and gasping for breath, I understood something clearly for the first time. I wasn't just being neglected, I was being used. I started writing everything down: promises, dates, screenshots, missed calls. And as I wrote, memories resurfaced. The mountain cabin they always bragged about? My name was on the loan. The utilities? On my credit card. My sister's business bookkeeping? I built it, managed it, fixed it. I was the safety net, the invisible backbone. So instead of yelling, I did something quieter. I hired a lawyer. I asked one simple question: how do I remove myself from everything and take only what's legally mine? The answer changed my life. I removed my name from joint accounts, canceled auto payments, requested a buyout or sale of the cabin. No shouting, no drama, just boundaries. When they came back from their trip, the panic began. My mom called, furious about unpaid bills. My dad showed up waving legal letters. My sister accused me of ruining her life. Not one of them apologized for leaving me alone after surgery. Not one. The cabin went on the market. Their lifestyle collapsed without my support, and my phone lit up with 63 desperate messages begging me to talk. I didn't answer, because I finally understood something important. Being the strong one doesn't mean sacrificing yourself forever. Sometimes strength is stepping away and letting people feel the weight they handed to you. Today, I live in a new apartment with an elevator. My finances are clean, my boundaries are real. My family still texts occasionally, but I no longer rush to save them. Family, to me now, means people who don't leave you behind, even when the snow is perfect. The first message came at 6:12 a.m. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, lighting up the room I had finally started to feel safe in again. I didn't pick it up right away. I already knew who it was from: my mother. "Elena, please call me. This is getting out of hand." I stared at the ceiling for a long moment before unlocking my phone. Overnight, the missed calls had multiplied. Mom, Dad, Lena, even my aunt. Voicemails stacked on top of each other like a digital pile-up of panic. Funny how quiet they had been when I couldn't stand without help. Now they couldn't stop talking. I listened to my mom's voicemail first. Her voice sounded shaky, strained in a way I recognized instantly. Not worry for me, fear for herself. "The bank called again. They're saying something about restructuring. Elena, we don't understand what's happening. You need to explain this." Explain. I let out a slow breath and deleted the message. The next voicemail was from my dad. His tone was different, clipped, irritated, trying to sound in control. "I don't know what you think you're doing, but you're creating a real mess here. We'll talk when you calm down." I almost laughed. Calm down. The last voicemail was from my sister, Lena. She didn't bother hiding her anger. "You really went too far this time. Do you have any idea what you've done? Sponsors are asking questions. The cabin photos were part of my brand. You can't just pull the rug out from under us." I set the phone down. That was the moment it fully sank in. They weren't reaching out because they missed me. They were reaching out because the consequences had arrived. By the end of that week, the cabin officially went on the market. The real estate photos popped up online before anyone told me. Bright lighting, cozy furniture, snow-dusted trees framing a place I had once believed symbolized family. I stared at those photos longer than I expected to. That cabin had been sold to me as our dream, a place we'd gather, a place that meant togetherness. But when I was lying alone on my apartment floor, unable to reach my medication, that dream hadn't even slowed their car down. So I closed the listing and went to physical therapy. Healing, it turns out, happens in layers. My dad showed up unannounced 3 days later. I heard the knock and felt my stomach tighten out of habit. For years, his presence meant problems I was expected to solve. I opened the door slowly, leaning on my cane. He walked in without asking, eyes scanning the apartment like he was searching for proof that I was doing better without them. "What happened to you?" he asked finally, nodding at my cane. "I had surgery," I said. "The one you left town during." His jaw tightened. "We made a mistake, but this is extreme." I gestured to the chair. "Sit down." He didn't. "You're forcing us to sell. Your mother is sick over this." I met his eyes. "I didn't force anything. I stopped paying." He stared at me like I spoke in another language. I continued, "That cabin exists because of my credit, because of my income, because I handled the bills. I just stepped away." "That's family," he snapped. "We help each other." I nodded slowly. Family doesn't leave someone alone after surgery. Silence filled the room. For a moment I thought he might actually say it, the words I had waited years to hear. Instead, he sighed and said, "You're breaking your mother's heart." Something inside me finally settled. I was on the floor, in pain, alone, and none of you came. That broke mine. He left without another word. The sale went through faster than expected. When my lawyer confirmed the transfer, I sat at my kitchen table and watched the number appear in my personal bank account. Not relief, not joy, clarity. That money wasn't a windfall, it was reimbursement. For years of covering gaps, for nights fixing problems that weren't mine, for being the adult when everyone else got to pretend. I used part of it to move, out of the walk-up, out of the space where I'd learned exactly how disposable I was. My new apartment had an elevator, wide hallways, and sunlight that didn't feel like it had to fight its way in. When I signed the lease, my hand didn't shake. No one else's name was on the paperwork. The family group chat went quiet after the sale, for weeks. Then slowly, messages started trickling in. My mom sent photos of old holidays. My dad sent short updates about work. Lena posted vague stories about resetting and new chapters. None of them apologized. That used to bother me. Now it didn't. Because I had stopped waiting for people to become who I needed them to be. The final message came late one night, from my sister. "You hope you're happy." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed back, "I hope you learn to stand on your own." She didn't reply, and for the first time, neither did I. Recovery taught me something surgery never could. Pain fades, but clarity sticks. I still love my family, just not at the cost of myself, and I no longer confuse silence with strength or sacrifice with love. If someone has ever called you selfish for finally choosing yourself, remember this: they only say that when they can no longer benefit from your silence.